You may remember this when Dr. Chris Snyder first came on the show and we would elbow bump. It, of course, is a safer alternative to shaking hands because you don't spread germs the same way.
And we'd like to say that maybe we started a trend. We also never imagined a time when our communication with Dr. Snyder would have to be virtual, no elbow bumps.
Now, the good news about that is we are very happy to say that time is over. And Dr. Chris Snyder, Chief Quality Officer with TidalHealth Peninsula Regional, joins us in historic Studio D for our first in-person Ask the Doc in over a year.
Yeah.
It is good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
So let me ask you, can I ask you some COVID questions? I'm sure you're tired of it by now.
What's COVID?
No.
Well, that's a good place to start, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So everybody's been wearing a mask. So has this had an effect on colds and flu as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, the hand hygiene and absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely the flu has pretty much gone away. So I think we had one case the whole spring. So,
Really?
Yeah, it was really pretty impressive.
So it kind of backs up what you were saying before COVID, that, you've got to wash your hands. Do all
Yeah,
that.
it's infection prevention. I mean, it really is a matter of sharing with your friends the things you want to share, not the things you don't
Not
want
the
to share.
things you don't.
But
Okay.
hand hygiene is definitely a big one.
So
Love it
where
when
do you
they
think
share.
we are with COVID now? Is this a done doobie?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. The vaccination's absolutely working. So everybody I put in the hospital with COVID now has not been vaccinated. It's pretty interesting. So the real deal's out there. I'm waiting for statistics from our leaders at CDC and World
Right.
Health. But yeah, I think it's really, it's actually quite impressive. It's somewhat of a miracle to see the unvaccinated not getting sick with COVID. The reality of the whole thing is, man, it's going away. And it's not going away because Mother Nature. It's going away because of the vaccine, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, and I think we talked about this at one point. Of course, there's the one-shot vaccine. There are the two-shot vaccines, Moderna, Pfizer, I think AstraZeneca too. And at one point, they were saying if you get a Pfizer, make your second the Pfizer. If you get a Moderna, make the second. And I'm seeing now that some of the second shots can be the other brand.
Yeah, there are some the guidelines don't recommend that at this point. So,
Okay.
but I think folks who can't get the other, which I can't imagine right now because it's available at
gotten
Walmart,
better.
it's available everywhere pretty much. So, but I think J&J, AstraZeneca has not been approved for EUA yet here, but the other three are being utilized. So, and we're seeing really good success. So it's exciting.
So you get vaccinated, and then you come down with a terrible cold or, chest pain.
Sure.
Should you go get a COVID test?
There's some still testing COVID, but it's getting less and less, even in the emergency room and the urgent care centers. There's a lot more differential going on in understanding of what the COVID representation of symptoms are. So they're very similar, but then again, if you're really not having a fever, it's not COVID. COVID creates fever, and so we've gotten pretty good at identifying it. So you always have to worry about it. If you've been vaccinated, though, the likelihood is really slim. So because it's about 95% efficacious.
What do you think was the biggest takeaway from everything that happened? No, the biggest one. We only have an hour show.
Wow, that's a tough question. I think the community basis of the way we handled this was astronomical. It was phenomenal. So my biggest takeaway is just to see what we did.
Yeah.
In that first 3 months was spectacular.
was
So
incredible.
it was a war zone, and we responded well to
Y'all
it as a
stepped up.
community. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it
so-
was ever evolving, so
Yeah.
it was unprecedented. So you did great.
Well,
Yeah,
we did
fantastic.
great, but again, the people did great, and they trusted it and really followed what we advised them on, despite what little we knew. So,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a pretty amazing task.
It was well done.
Well, we're just getting started with you, Dr. Snyder. We're going to keep you on that couch for a little while. It's been a while since we've been able to hang out, so we're keeping him around for a few more minutes.
Yes, a few more minutes.
The doc is in the house. It feels so good to say that again, doesn't it?
Isn't that the truth? We are hanging out with Chief Quality Officer with TidalHealth Peninsula Regional, Dr. Chris Snyder. Still, thank you again for talking to us today. Thank you for coming in Historic Studio D.
Thanks for having me.
Does it feel weird to be back in here?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially without the.
Without the mask. That was kind of weird, wasn't it? Okay, let me ask you this. Talking about sunscreen. Is there a time of day when sunscreen is not necessary? For instance, if we're going on a late afternoon, early evening swim, do I really need sunscreen?
Yeah, I mean, the sun is bright. It's not as bright, but even on cloudy days you need it. So, and one of the things I find people forget about sunscreen is you have to apply it before you go in the sun. So, because it takes a while for it to actually, the chemicals to stimulate the blockage. So, it's important that you apply 30 minutes probably before you
go out.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what time of day, unless it's dark. Obviously, the moon's not going to get you. But,
Yeah.
But really, yeah, that's probably the most important thing you can do is protect your skin. So. Our age group, we didn't learn that too well.
No,
when
we
were younger.
didn't.
So it's definitely a lot more science around it now. Yes.
Baby oil on to get a...
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, here's a question. When my doctor prescribes medication, I always get antsy because I'm afraid of the cost. Is it inappropriate to chat with my doctor about more affordable options?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask the question. There are generics that are just as good. There's very few generics I won't use because of the efficacy of the drug. But absolutely, you can switch to a generic and save yourself hundreds of dollars a month. So be very open with that with us. And if we don't know, you can also ask your pharmacist too. They're really good at researching that for you.
And something else that you need is water, and that leads to our next question. I know it's important to stay hydrated, but can you go into more detail about how water actually benefits the body?
Yeah, your body's 90% water. So if you're running your tank low, it drives the fuel. So I almost tell people it's kind of like a lubricant if you think about it. So if you run mechanics without lubrication, you're going to break down and wear out. Water really does help your body work better. Your organs like kidneys, the heart, the brain, the neurons, it all depends on the amount of water and salt in your body. And it's really super important to keep your hydration up. And a good measurement of hydration is how much you put out. So if you're urinating, it really tells you you're topped off at that point. Yeah, and the color of your urine is very important to monitor also. So darker urine means you probably need more fluids unless you're on a medication doing it. So it's important.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then, because we've talked a little bit about it. I have a friend whom I love dearly that absolutely hates drinking water. Does coffee count? Does sweet tea count? Can she substitute something else for water?
Yeah, so pretty much any liquid does, but when you add things to liquids, you start getting complications. Coffee, for example, has a diuretic effect, meaning it makes you urinate more. So if you're going to urinate more, you're going to need more water.
Defeating
so
the purpose, yeah.
It's defeating a purpose. So uncaffeinated probably, and then if you throw sugar in there from like sodas, etc., sure, it's hydration. If you're gonna drink something or eat something sweet, eat fruit because it has a balance and it gives you a lot of extra things that help you maintain the fluid.
But drink water.
Water.
Drink water.
Water's great.
Water.
Stuff.
I love water.
Best thing. Cold, hot, however you like it.
Yeah, all right. Tidal Health, Dr. Chris Snyder. Thank you so much
Thank you, Doctor.
for coming
It's good to see you,
in.
sir.
It's good to see
Thank
you.
you so much for coming in.
Long distance.